The day that changed my life forever. I don't usually talk much about my past, maybe because I've changed so much that it almost feels like I'm telling someone else's story. Today I'm in a good place. I'm genuinely happy. But if you had met me many years ago, you would have seen a completely different person. Back then, I thought I was one of the unluckiest people alive. This is the story of how that changed. Before everything changed, I grew up in a small city in Estonia. My parents separated when I was 4, so I lived with my mom and 2 older brothers. My dad was still around, and sometimes we'd go cycling together or try different sports. I was a lively, curious kid. My friends and I spent almost every day outside, climbing trees, riding bikes, exploring the forest, inventing games. We didn't think about the future. We just lived in the moment. Life was simple, safe. September 1st, 2001. That date is burned into my memory. I was 9 years old. It was the start of the school year, but also my friend's birthday. I had a couple of hours before the party, so when some friends invited me to play at an abandoned construction site, I agreed. We'd been there before, climbing, hiding, running around. We were playing hide and seek when one of my friends jumped off a large concrete block. It wasn't secured to the ground. It tipped forward, straight towards me. I remember a sudden crash, then silence. The block, all 1.5 tons of it, landed on my back. Somehow my head and upper body weren't touched, but my legs, I couldn't feel them. The rescue. The rescue team arrived quickly. They used airbags to lift the block. That's when the pain hit. Sharp, overwhelming, almost blinding. I was rushed to the nearest hospital, then moved to Tallinn for emergency surgery. My L3 vertebra was completely crushed. My ribs were broken. My legs were broken. My organs had been pushed out of place. The doctors told my parents there was a chance I might never walk again. I didn't understand the full meaning of that. I thought, like every other injury, I'd just heal. The hospital days, weeks passed. At first, there were visitors, care, attention. But slowly, reality began to sink in. My legs became thin and weak. I couldn't move them. I realized my life had changed, and not in a small way. I had lost my independence, my freedom, my ability to be like other kids. Back to school. But not the same. When I returned to school, everything felt different. I was shy, withdrawn. I didn't know how to talk to my classmates anymore. Some treated me with pity, some ignored me completely, and a few bullied me. I started to believe I didn't belong anywhere. My confidence disappeared, hitting rock bottom. At home, there was tension. At school, I felt like an outsider. I began to hate myself and my life. There were moments I wished I'd never been born. I thought, what's the point? Everything felt hopeless. But one day, in the middle of all that darkness, something changed. It wasn't dramatic. It was just a small, quiet thought. This isn't my fault. That thought grew. I realized I had survived something huge. Maybe I couldn't control what had happened, but I could control what I did next. The turning point. I decided to stop hiding from my fears. I started talking to people again. Slowly, I met others who faced similar challenges and refused to give up. They inspired me. I began reading books about self-growth and spirituality. The more I learned, the more I understood that my accident didn't have to define me. It could be the thing that shaped me for the better. I stopped blaming the world. I started creating my own reality. And with that, my confidence slowly came back. Breaking out of the comfort zone. Through high school, I pushed myself. I learned the guitar. I got my driver's license. I went to university. I traveled. I made new friends. I became interested in health and nutrition, switching to raw living foods. It gave me more energy, clearer thinking, and a stronger connection to my body. One book, The Power of Now, changed the way I saw life completely. It taught me to live in the present moment, to stop identifying with negative thoughts. From that point on, depression no longer had control over me. Life now today, I live independently. I drive my own car. I've traveled abroad alone. I've been on TV. I've done things that once felt impossible. And yes, my dream is still to walk again. Not because I need it to be can promise it will be worth it. This is my story, from tragedy to triumph, from feeling broke